So hello, I'm Damon. I've spent a long time. I spent 26 years in advertising, yes, I did start young. This is my first day at work. This was me working on the Winnie the Pooh account way back when. But I've worked over that time. I've created brands. I've created TV commercials, films, websites for many different clients at eight different agencies, and some of them were little sort of cool hot shops, and some were big sort of multinational businesses. Two of which were the big at the time were the biggest companies in the country. Sadly, two of which don't exist anymore. And I was being fascinated by all the businesses over that time, all the communications businesses over those years that started up, to watch their progression and just see how they get on, and see why the ones succeeded, why the ones that succeeded did, and why the ones that failed. I learned a huge amount, and after, like I said, 26 years, I thought I'd learned enough to be able to start my own business. So last June, 3 really fabulous people and myself started, as Duke said, this company. And oh yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking. There's you know exactly why we named it that. It's because we really liked osteopathy. But actually, yes, we do like osteopathy, but the reason we really started it was because we believe really profoundly that no one has all the answers, and the way to make really great things is through relentless collaboration. And we're really excited by all of the... There's a sort of profusion of really fantastic creative businesses that are actually growing and have been growing over the last sort of 10 to 15 years, partly because of the internet, but just partly because actually there's just shitloads of really fantastic creativity around there. And actually we got very excited about the prospects of partnering with a whole load of these people who really believe, as we do, that collaboration is the future. So when I started thinking about what I can actually talk about today, I came at it from the way I always come at things, which is thinking, what's the objective? And the objective here, your objective is quite simple. It's basically you're forming a startup. So this is what I'm going to talk about. Some shit I've learned over the last 27 years that I thought might be of use to someone starting their own business. Quite simple. And there's basically 3 things. There was a lot more things, but basically it ended up being an hour and a half. And so I thought, well, fuck it, I've got to do 20 minutes. So basically there are 3 things. The first thing is this. It's all about your vision. So we're all here for this reason. So we know that our ideas are powerful, okay? And you've been having some fantastic ideas. The thing is, though, that there is, without a vision, without a very clear vision, without ideas being put into operation, your idea is actually, pointless. And your vision is actually a roadmap. It's the thing that's going to help you understand who you are, where you're going to go, and how you're going to get there. And the fact is that actually you've got to have that. You've got to be very, very clear about every aspect of that. Because if you don't understand it, no fucker will, basically. You're going to have to ask yourself a load of questions and be able to answer those questions, and lots of people are going to be asking you those questions. So they're questions like pretty fundamental ones. Why do you exist? Which I'm pretty sure you've been all asking a lot of the projects you've been working on. What kind of people will you employ? How will you treat them? What's your exit strategy? How much money do you want to earn? That's a really, it's a really interesting one, that, to the non-profit point I made earlier. What will you do with that profit if you make any? What things will you always do? What things will you never do? And many other fascinating questions. When you ask and answer those questions, when you have answers to those questions will help you understand something that's really, really critical, which is your values. And those values actually help you find something which is really even more important, which is your culture. And then when you've got your culture, that is the thing that helps you work out what your behaviours are. And those things basically end up forming the DNA of your business. And you look at any of the companies that we all love, these things are writ large in all of them. You really, really, get exactly what they're about. And they help you, they help you understand, again, where you want to get to. Now, in my industry, in advertising, for example, the conventional wisdom is you start a business and you have a 3 to 5 year plan, and you optimize the business you have, you win lots of business, you make your business very valuable, you sell it in 5 years' time, you'd have a 3-year earn out, and then you fuck off and do whatever you want to do. Okay, so our vision really helped us understand. We spent a lot of time talking about it, months and months talking about it. We had a lot of time. We had quite a juicy contract, which stopped us working for quite a long time after we resigned on our last job. So we spent a lot of time. We had nothing else to do. We weren't allowed to earn any money. We had a lot of time to talk about it. And we worked out that actually we didn't want a 3 or 5 year plan. We wanted a 20-year plan. So this is 2032. So in 2032, we know what we want. We want to have a business that we're really proud of. We want to have a business that is not just valuable, but actually has value. So there are lots of business. We may not make the millions that other companies do when they sell their baby, but what we want to be able to do is look back on the thing that we created, and actually just go, we're proud of that. That's a really wonderful, special thing. Talking of things. Thing number 2. It's all about focus. I've done karate for many years, and the thing about karate is what you try and do is you try and put every ounce of energy that you have in your entire body, every piece of energy, into one small space, and that's where you actually you direct everything, all of your energy, and that's how people can break tiles with their hands. That isn't me, by the way. That's how they smash things with their heads. It's all about focusing your energy, and I think business is the same. So the more you can focus everyone's energy into exactly the same space, the faster you'll move, the more successful you'll be, and the more value you'll actually end up creating. I think over the 9 or 10 months we've been going, we found incredible the amount of things that seem like they're actually really important, that pop up, that people speak to you about, and you think, oh, actually we should do that, we should do that, we should do that, we should do that. And they can absolutely dissipate your energy. They can, if you're really not careful, if you're not very, very disciplined, you can totally fuck yourself really quickly by trying to do too many things either at once or consecutively or whatever it is. You've got to know, and your vision will actually help you work out exactly what you're there to do. This is the truth. Your time is the most valuable investment you'll make, so you've got to spend it wisely. There's a great Zen saying I love, which is all about focus, and it really I think about this a lot, and it's this. This is really just saying, whatever you do it 100%. Do nothing but that. Okay, you stop doing that, now do that, and do nothing but that. Now do that, and do nothing but that. Really just focus, do something, and do it fucking brilliantly. And if you do that, you kind of, if you focus on that, you've got every chance of doing something brilliantly. There's a bloke, I can't remember his surname, there's a guy, David someone or other, and he uses this quote every now and then, which I also quite like. And that's very much about focus. Who knows whether he lives lives those values. I'm not quite convinced. I think there is another interesting truth when it comes to focus, and we found this. And what's brilliant, and this is part of the reason that we have a 20-year plan and don't really think that we're going to end up working for anyone else, is because there's a word that you can use which can really help you focus on the stuff that's important and the stuff that you want to do. And it's the stuff that if you don't run your own business, it's hard to do. But if you do run your own business, you can use it, and it's this. And all I can say is the judicious use of this word is something that can help you really create a business that you want, create value in your business, do really special things. Because by saying no when you really need to say no to the people you need to say no to, you can shape your company in the way you want it to be. We've in our first 9 months, we've said no to 21. We've pitched for 4 things in our time. We've won 3. We've had an opportunity to work on 21 other projects, and we've said no to them for various reasons. I won't go into that now. It's another story. But by doing that, we've actually really managed to define exactly who we are, and I don't regret that at all. On to the next thing. Oh, by the way, this is me. The third thing there. So it's all about people. No, really, it is. To be honest, if you've just come in now, then you really haven't missed anything, because this is it. This is what everything's about. And when you start your own company, we're talking about a lot of people. There's an awful lot of people that are actually involved. And they range from your partners, your customers, your employees, your investors, suppliers, your lawyers, your accountants, your tax advisors, your bankers, etc. And there's a general rule that I think is true about the world, which is when you play with amateurs, you're going to get hurt. So again, so I'm a second dan in karate, and I've fought an awful lot of people over the years, and I'm not scared about fighting the fifth dans, the people who train every single day, the people who go into competitions and kick the shit out of other people, because actually I don't get hurt by them. The people I'm really scared about are the people who just started, the beginners, the people who basically are just standing there like that. They're the ones that smash you in the face and kick you in the bollocks, because basically they're the ones that don't have the skills, they're the ones that don't have the elegance, they're the ones that don't understand what they're doing. And it is true. I think it's true in football. It's true in a whole load of places that basically, if you're playing with people who don't quite know what they're doing, it's a dangerous thing to do. So stay with people who really, really know their shit. And there are like I said, there are loads of these people, but actually I'm going to just focus on a few of them. So the first one, and you may go, well, do you know what? I'm not going to need any partners. It's just me. That's it. That's my business. But I knew that I needed partners, and I actually think I always thought that when I started a business, all I needed was a client, someone to pay me some money. I'll get a client, I'll get some cash, and then I'll find some people, and then fuck it, we'll do it. It'll be great. But actually, then I realised, do you know what? It's not about that. I was looking around the companies that were failing, the companies that were succeeding, the companies I worked at, the ones I really wanted to emulate, the ones I just really, really didn't want to be anything like. And then I realised it was about the people that you actually sat in a room with, and that's it. And so I knew that I wanted to find the right partners. We set up a business with no accounts, but we had each other. And sounds rather romantic, really. Had each other, just sat in my kitchen, and that was it. And then we just waited for the phone to ring. Eventually, it did. Anyway, I got married 21 years ago this year. You can see you can see my expression there. You can see why. I was very, very pleased about that day. She's a pretty good catch. But part of the reason I was pleased about that is because we first met when we were 11. I don't know if you can see that photograph, but basically, I was very, very pleased that day as well. She fucking hated me. So my wife came over from Brazil, and literally the first day I saw her, I was like, that's it. She's fantastic. She just found me annoying. So anyway, so it took a while. Obviously, we weren't going out the whole time, but basically, I managed to win her over eventually. And I think again, I didn't rush into anything. So by the time I did propose, I thought we knew each other pretty well. I thought we knew each other well enough that actually my parents got divorced, and I didn't want to get divorced. So I thought we knew each other well enough to be able to have a decent run at it. And I think I thought there wouldn't be any nasty surprises down the way. And I think it's the same in business. I felt I didn't want to start a business that was going to that I wanted to only have one company. I'm not interested in starting lots and lots of different companies one after the other. I just thought I want one company, and I want it to last at least as long as my marriage has. So and I came very close at one point to starting business. Spent 10 months talking to some people, and then realised it just didn't feel right. People said, just go with your, go with your gut, go with your heart. You've got to trust these people, and it didn't feel right. So pulled the plug and never regretted. But it did teach me what I wanted from a business partner. And it was this. I want them to be nice, good, resilient, ambitious and trustworthy. And I think I'm very fortunate to have found in Richard, Laurie and Nick, these are some of our friends, as some three fantastic people who answer those criteria. We'd known each other for quite a long time, actually, before we worked together. We hadn't all worked together in the same place, but we all knew each other, and we'd all worked together in different places. And we knew that we could trust each other. In fact, when we were putting together our partnership agreement, our lawyer sat us down and said, okay, so what are the kind of things that might totally decimate the company? What are the things that are going to destroy it? I love the talks that we've had from lawyers are fantastic. I find it fascinating. I've spent a long time talking to lawyers, and I love their probing questions. They really have forced us to understand what our vision is, to really get to know, to design our business. And we thought for quite a long time, we just couldn't think of anything. We just thought, I don't know. He said, all right, let me give you an example. So basically, one of you goes and gets absolutely twatted, gets in the car, drives around, kills someone, gets put into prison. You're in prison for 10 years. Would that do it? Would that destroy the company? We were like, no. And eventually, the only thing we could think of was actually lying. So we thought, if one of us lies to the other, then we're fucked. If we can't trust each other, we are fucked. There is nothing. You literally have nothing. So that's the other thing. Without trust, you've got nothing. And I think the other thing we agreed that we have, which isn't in our partnership agreement, but we do agree on, is a zero tolerance policy on politics, because nothing destroys businesses like politics. What you have to do is everyone within the business has to actually be moving together, fighting external forces. And if they're actually spending their energy fighting each other inside, again, everything just falls apart. When everyone's rowing in the same direction, you move so much faster. So people are rowing that way. So I would say get to know each other before you tie the knot. The other people, your customers. So we know this quote. We know this quote. Most technology startups fail not because the technology doesn't work, but because they're making something there's not a real market for. So here's an alarming fact. People don't actually wake up every day wanting to help your business succeed. Customers and users, we call them customers, users, but actually what they think of themselves is as people. And I think that the way that we've got to really, really understand that, we've got to really think these are people, we are people. We're not just making stuff for customers. We're not makers, and we're all people. And if we can do this, then we've got a chance of actually answering this question and doing this. For us, our customers or our users are our clients, and we have a very simple policy, and it's about people first. So we look at the people who are running the companies that we have an opportunity of working with, the bits of business that we want to work with. And we think, okay, so are those guys, what are they like? Are they inspiring? Do we want to spend time in a room with them? Are they ambitious the way we are? Do they want to do interesting, different things? And if the answers to those questions, are yes, then we'll go, okay, fine, right now. What about the brand? Do we like that? What about the money? Is that any good? But those other questions are the most important ones. And if we fall down on those things, then we're not really interested. Another group of people are your employees, the people, again, who work for you. I think Steve Jobs talks about A players. And without doubt, A players, stuffing your business full of A players has got to be a way of making it brilliant. As he found, A players like working with A players, and having the best people makes it easier to get the best people in there. There is an issue, though, with having that policy, which is greatness is scarce. And people can propel your business or poison it. So it gives you a really interesting sort of question you've got to ask yourself about a growth strategy. So if you go, shit, we've got to hire 200 people overnight. Okay, so where are those 200 people going to come from? There's a sort of a rule which is 4 interviews are about the ideal amount to if you're going to hire someone. So any more than that, and it starts sort of going the wrong way. Any less than that, you're not necessarily convinced. You won't necessarily know that they're the right people. So you've got to have time to do 4 interviews, and you've got to just basically work out whether those people are right. They've got to meet the right people and that sort of stuff. So, I think I've certainly seen, again, over the years of studying creative businesses, I've seen a lot of really wonderful, delicate, magical cultures get completely trashed by the wrong person being brought in at a high level without being properly vetted. They come in, the politics kicks in, it's all about them, they couldn't give a shit about the beautiful culture that's actually been set up, and they are, it just takes one person. Everyone goes, look at them, they've been hired, they must, people must think that's the right way to behave. Let's all do that, and you're fucked. So, I would say hire slow, and just make sure you keep the wankers out. There's a really interesting book, and I don't know whether it's over here yet. I got it in America the other day, called Give and Take by a guy called Adam Grant. Has anyone heard of it? No? It's really good. Get it. It's a really interesting. He talks about 3 types of people. So there's givers, takers, and matchers. And you read it and you go, yeah, I think I know. Oh yeah, that is me. And I'm pretty sure I know exactly what we all are. And I think that he makes a point which is actually reassuring, which is people who give their time and their energy and their effort without necessarily expecting anything in return are actually the most successful and productive, which is reassuring. So it makes sense to actually, again, stuff your business. Find those people, somehow work out, just make sure that they're the right ones, and just hire them. Just fill your business, fill a startup with as many people who want to give each other their time, energy, and effort. Then there's everyone else, basically. There's the people who fund you, advise you, etc., etc. So, do they get you? This is an old document without a why. Finally, we took our company over to Austin early this year, to South by Southwest, and there was a fantastic bloke called Elon Musk that we were lucky enough to see being interviewed. And it was a really interesting, they asked him a very interesting question, which is, okay, so what's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Which is a great question. And he just didn't know how to answer. He just basically, it was really embarrassing. It was about just I don't know. And basically, this is a guy who set up a fucking, set up a thing called SpaceX, which sends rockets into outer space. And the first 3 rockets exploded on the launch pad, right? But he didn't mention that as a mistake at all. And he's a guy who set up a company called Tesla. And the first production models, the batteries had a catastrophic fault, which meant that if the battery depleted, ran down, it was going to cost 40 grand to put right. But he didn't mention that at all. Eventually he realised, he said, okay, oh, yeah, no, I've got it. He said, I used to hire people because of talent alone. And then but I just would hire these people, and they just weren't right. And he said, I now realise that it matters that people have a good heart, which I thought was beautiful. It was really, really lovely, coming from him, fucking successful, serial entrepreneur. And he said, I'd rather take personality over talent. So I would just say, in finishing, find the right people. Because the right people will help bring your vision to life, will help you focus on what's important, help you build a business that you'll be proud of, and most importantly, they make it fun. Thank you.